Hi, we are Chris and Catherine. We just graduated from Indiana University last May and did Eric and Heather's pre-engagement program finishing up about a month ago and have then since gotten engaged, so that's exciting.
Yeah, so we met with Eric and Heather for 8 weeks, and some of the benefits that we thought came from it, we took the pair test right off the bat, which is an in-depth personality test, and there was 500 questions, and it was just short answers. But yeah, that revealed a lot about just differences that we have, and it was able to plot it out in a graph. So there are about 15 or so characteristics that it plotted out. So that just really helped both of us to see where we're different in certain areas, and maybe we noticed it before, but now it's easy to look back and see that we actually have a graph. Okay, he's higher on extroversion and I'm lower, so maybe a weekend night he should hang out with friends and I should just stay at home because otherwise I might get aggravated if I'm out too late or something. So just like little things like that really helped us, have helped us, and will continue to help us. So just seeing that was a big benefit. And then as far as future benefits, we wrote out 10 or more expectations we had for marriage, and we had to be really specific about those expectations and then also agree to those expectations with Chris and me. So that's really helpful just to know what he wants out of marriage and then also what I want and what I grew up with, and so we were able to kind of learn more about each other's backgrounds that way and how different roles were played in the household. We also made a budget on $40,000, so that was kind of stressful, but it was really helpful, and that will definitely come into play in the future when we have to make a budget, and I think that will be a very practical thing that we learned from Eric and Heather. Then the quality of interaction with Eric and Heather was really great. They were awesome, really down-to-earth people, and could understand us really well because they're licensed counselors. I don't think we would have gotten the same experience had we gone through a church, just because they both have their master's degrees and can really understand different personalities. So from taking the pair test right off the bat, they were able to see exactly the type of person we are, and so I think that helped just down the road for future sessions, understand why we would give a certain answer or maybe take longer to give an answer or whatever. And then the last thing that I have to add is the cost was kind of a thing for us at first, like about $700, a little less. Seemed like a lot of money to spend, especially for two recent graduates. But it was so well worth it. Like after a couple sessions, even the pair test itself was worth that much money. So now looking back, it's not even an issue. But at the beginning, it definitely was. So if you're hesitant for that reason, I would say just go for it because it's definitely well worth it.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was worried about coming in was how are we going to do counseling over the computer with Skype, and I was kind of worried that it might take away from some of the personal touch, and that wasn't really the issue at all. I felt like we were actually in the room with them. I mean, they were very good about communicating over the computer, and we'd never really done that before, so we really didn't lose any of the personal touch with that. And even since we've finished up counseling, I've seen some benefits just in what we've done so far. One is like when we do have arguments still, because they don't solve everything, but we feel more equipped to handle them. We're more methodical in how we recognize, okay, what's going on, and they really equip you well to handle arguments instead of just solving them for you. And then also we just understand each other's personalities more. Catherine mentioned taking that pair test. And so I not only know when she's mad, but I also now know her personality well enough to know why she's getting upset or why we're kind of missing in certain areas. Plotting yourself out on a graph really kind of sounds corny, but it helps us a lot just in recognizing what's going on And also, now that we are engaged, we actually feel prepared for marriage. Not saying that it's going to be easy, because I don't ever hear stories like that, but I actually think we are ready and have the tools that are necessary for it. And then also, just the way that we front-loaded some of the conversations that we need to have. Eric and Heather had us talk about money, and they had us talk about religion and family and all of these different things that have to come up eventually in marriage, and they just kind of forced the issue rather than letting them come passively in the middle of arguments. We feel really prepared in a lot of the areas that are going to eventually come up in marriage, but now we've kind of already dealt with a lot of those things. Again, yeah, one of the most beneficial things was that pair test, because it didn't fix arguments for you, but it did equip us and to just know how to handle each other's personalities. And Catherine already mentioned, we would kind of get in arguments on weekends about what we were going to do, and we didn't realize that I'm super extroverted and I want to go out and be with other people, and she's introverted and would rather just stay at home with the two of us. And so kind of finding that out has helped us better equip how we plan our weekends. But it's not just about the introverted, extroverted. That's everything else we've learned too has kind of helped us encapsulate everything that they taught us in that pair test. But yeah, one of the hardest things was I majored in finance. I know the value of $1, and it was tough to spend that much money on something that was intangible. But yeah, after the first couple weeks, it was by no question worth our money. We're actually doing our premarital counseling with them starting in a couple weeks, and so we saw it as valuable enough to even return, because they say that divorce is more expensive than counseling, and although no one thinks they're going to get divorced, we definitely don't think that that's going to be the case, and also we just feel like we're going to be happier avoiding arguments and understanding each other better. And so we really do and have recommended this to a lot of our friends, especially recent college graduates that think they know what they're talking about but really don't. But we would also recommend it to you guys. We're returning for premarital counseling and think it's well worth the $1. So good luck with whatever you decide, and hopefully Eric and Heather can help you guys out too. Thanks.
Thanks.